Welcome to Tech Confidential. I'm Mary Kathleen Flynn with Behind the Money. Here with me is John Girard, who's the CEO and founder of Clickability, and you have some news to announce.
We do. We're very pleased to announce that we've just closed on an $8 million second venture round with Shasta Ventures, and that follows on from the last funding event, which was actually about 6 or 7 years ago.
So why was there a big gap between the two fundings, and why do you need the money now, and what are you going to do with it?
It was an interesting situation because we'd been cash positive for quite a long time. In 2007, we actually saw our sales pipeline grow by 5x, and that's a pretty big explosion for a company that's 30 or 40 people, and so we needed to bring in some external capital partners in order to take advantage of that.
Let's back up a little bit. I didn't give you a chance to explain what Clickability does.
Sure. So Clickability is the leader globally in on-demand web content management. And it's a mouthful, but what it means is that we help non-technical users publish sophisticated and high-volume websites. So not only do we help non-technical people publish to the web, we also help them publish to email newsletters, to other devices like the Amazon Kindle. I actually happen to have one right here in my lap. Philadelphia Daily News and Inquirer is one of the first customers that we have that's publishing to the Kindle, which is sort of fun. I'm not sure if this is something that you can see well. We also have things like analytics built right into the platform. So having a complete end-to-end solution is a really major differentiator for us.
And now the question I started to ask before about the venture capitalists.
Sure.
How do you persuade them to invest in you when you don't have a long track record of exits to point to, when you're not a serial entrepreneur?
One thing we were able to do is build a real business in a time that was very difficult to build a real business. So while I think you're right that the venture community is interested in folks with track records, that's a great place to put your bet. What they're really looking for is people who know how to build real businesses. And frankly, anybody who built a real business during the bust was profitable, grew the business dramatically. Survived. I mean, surviving even is a big deal, but we did more than survive. I mean, we over that 2.5-year period, we more than tripled our business. We rolled out new products. We acquired a lot of new customers. We hired fairly aggressively. So that was the single biggest, I think, feather that we had in our cap in going into the venture process, because ultimately that's what the venture community is looking for: real businesses.
And how did you choose the ones that you chose to work with?
Sure. Well, it's a mutual selection process, of course. We were fortunate in that we'd had a great run over the previous 18 months, and the word had sort of gotten out that things were going quite well. We were unusual in that we were cash positive. That's actually not the typical story of the entrepreneur walking into a venture office in Silicon Valley. In fact, it was funny the number of first-time meetings that I had where people would say, well, how much runway do you have? How many more months of cash do you have in the bank? And I would say, well, infinite.
We're not running out.
We're not running out. It's not happening. The process, I mean, it's well documented, well detailed. Really just involves making sure that there's a great personal fit and a great fit professionally from the standpoint of what are the professional values that the venture partner brings to the table, and what are the professional values that we have as a business, and making sure those two things sync up. I think it's very easy to have a venture partner that's fun to work with while things are going really, really well, but you really want to pick a venture partner who is going to be there when times get tough. Businesses inevitably face challenges, and you want somebody who's going to be a partner through that process. So the first time around, we raised money from Convergence Partners, and we chose very, very well. I think we were very lucky on the one hand, but we also were very careful in selecting the partner. And so we know what it's like to have somebody who's really on your side.
Who's that individual?
That was Eric DiBenedetto from Convergence Partners. He's actually still with us on the board and also did a follow-on financing in this round.
And who else will we be working with this round?
Sure. So this round, Shasta Ventures is leading, and Ravi Mohan will be joining the board. Ravi's a fantastic guy. He's got an amazing reputation among entrepreneurs in the Valley. That was something that we checked out really thoroughly.
What did you use to check it out?
We actually, all the usual suspects in terms of tools. So LinkedIn, actually Facebook was an amazing utility, oddly enough. Ravi was also very open. He basically sent us a list of everybody he's ever worked with and said, you can call anybody you want, which is impressive. Most people, whether it's a company or a venture partner, tend to say, here's my reference list, you can check any of these 3 people. He was a complete open book.
Open book,
yeah,
oh,
which is
great.
Fantastic.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much, John Girard, and congratulations on the new funding round. That's John Girard, CEO and founder of Clickability. I'm Mary Kathleen Flynn with Tech Confidential's Behind the Money.